Okay, today I'm going to show you how to set up the COSIVINA programming environment for use with dynamic field models. We're going to do this using the GitHub repository for COSIVINA. I'm sitting on that site now. You can see the URL here. So if you go to that URL, you'll see this opening page. We've got it divided into two main folders, the folder that contains COSIVINA and the folder that contains different DFT projects. I find it useful to use a tool called Github Desktop when interfacing with the COSIVINA software. So if you go to desktop.github.com, you can download this for both Mac and for Windows. Once it's installed on a Mac, you'll see it down here on your toolbar. If I run that, you'll see it'll open up, and I've got a list of my different repositories here on the left, including COSIVINA and the COSIVINA DFT projects, which are the ones I'm going to walk you through today. Sorry, let me go back to COSIVINA. So let me close that out. So once you've installed GitHub Desktop, if you go then to the GitHub COSIVINA site, and you click on COSIVINA first of all. If you click on this green code button and say open with GitHub Desktop, it will then give you a menu that will give you the option to clone the repository on your computer. Mine jumps right to the GitHub Desktop because I've already linked into the repository. As I said, once it's linked in, you'll see it on the left in your list of repositories. And in order, if you ever want to check and essentially get updated versions of any COSIVINA files, you just click the fetch button. It'll then fetch any new files and put them on GitHub on your computer. I've got a little GitHub folder where all my repositories are located locally on my computer. And you can see once you download COSIVINA or clone the repository, it should copy all of these files to your computer. In addition to COSIVINA, you also want to go ahead and, assuming you want examples, go to the COSIVINA DFT projects folder. And again, if you click the green button and say open with GitHub Desktop, it'll give you the option to clone that as well. So I've got that linked into my GitHub Desktop here. It's also available in my GitHub folder on my local, on my computer. If I click on COSIVINA DFT project, you'll see I've got a folder in there with the code for one of our recent dynamic field papers published in Current Directions. The last thing you need to do to get COSIVINA installed on your computer is to download some support files called the JSON Lab Files. To get to this location, if you go back to the main COSIVINA folder on GitHub, hello, there we go. If you click on COSIVINA and you go down to the installation instructions, right here is a link to clone or download the JSON Lab support files. So if I go to click on the download button, oops, actually I don't want to do that. Click on the clone button. It'll take me to their GitHub repository for JSON Lab support. And again, if you open that with GitHub Desktop, it'll add the JSON Lab repository to your GitHub folder, which eventually will show up as right here, JSON Lab. So once I have installed the GitHub Desktop app and then cloned the COSIVINA repository, the COSIVINA DFT projects repository, and the JSON Lab repository, then I'm basically all set to go to start running dynamic field simulations. I'm going to end this quick little tutorial just to show you how to launch on a particular model. So I'm opening MATLAB, and I don't know why I just lost my brightness. All right, so I'm opening MATLAB. First thing I need to do to launch the COSIVINA environment is to click on my GitHub folder and go into the COSIVINA folder and then type set path. And this will set up your COSIVINA environment, including that linking in the JSON Lab folder that you downloaded. And then if I go into my DFT projects, and let's say go into that Spencer folder, I'm going to open up this BAM file, and I'll explain that in the next tutorial. But basically, once I open up this BAM file, I'll just set it up to run one trial. If I hit run, now it should launch a simulator and bring up a GUI and show you a cool simulation of something. And again, I'll cover that in the next tutorial. If you then hit quit out of this simulator and then quit out of MATLAB, then you are all done.